Up next on End of Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at episode 13, 4-Year Reserve by Nektar Extra Unlimited. This is a mead that has been aged in bourbon barrels for 48 months, and it's coming in at a whopping 17.6% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome back to End of the Day Beer Review. Today we are looking at something interesting. So what was it, like April? I was down in South Carolina, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not a big Southern guy. So South Carolina was not on my list of places to go, and I really didn't do much research on anything there. Although I have to be honest, like the Charleston Aquarium was really cool. The main street was pretty good. And what was awesome was we went to a place called the Savannah Honey Company. Now, I was just walking around with my family, and we stopped in there, and they had a mead bar in the back where they let you try mead. And like we had gotten there at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and the kid behind the counter was awesome. And he was like, hey, I have, we can do a flight. And I did a flight of some meads, and some of the ones that I tried were freaking outstanding. So this is not the first time I'm trying this, but I will try to be as honest as I can because I have had mead before. In fact, on Long Island, we have a place called the Meadery. I think it's called the Meadery, which makes some really good mead. I've gone there a few times. It's very nice. The staff there is freaking awesome. So like, a good place to go to. But you don't really see that now, out and about. So as I was looking just for beer, forgive me, I gotta get an opener. I found, surprisingly, mead. And I wound up bringing home about 6 bottles of mead, ranging in price from like $6 a bottle all the way up to like really expensive ones like this. Now, the nice thing about mead is that you can put the cork back in and it'll last a little while, so I don't have to drink this today, and I'm not going to. But I do want to review it, and then I bought a second one, and I wanted to sell it. Now, this one was expensive. I want to say this was $30 or more for the bottle. All right, so let's open it. Okay. Ooh, the bar has just filled with this beautiful floral sweet smell. And I mean, there's not even any carbonation to be causing that to waft out like that, but here it is. All right, I'm gonna pour some into the glass so we can see what the pour is like. And oh, it pours almost like a lower proof bourbon. I mean, look at that. That is very, very light. Now, I do not know what bourbon barrels this has been aged in, and it says here, let's see, a long time ago in a basement not far from Detroit, ... It's a dark time for the rebel army. The evil empire has tightened its grip, has silenced the rebels' voice. In an effort to strengthen their cause, the rebels send out thousands of bottles across the galaxy. But the Imperial troops are hot on their trail. The revolution begins today. Help us, be Nektar fans. You are our only hope. May the poor be with you. I gotta tell you, I know it's just gimmicky marketing, but I fucking love that. It says honey wine on it, and it says aged in bourbon barrels for 48 months. And again, it does say that this is produced and bottled by Nektar in Ferndale, Michigan, and it's 7.6% ABV. And just so you know, I've never seen this before, but it says that it contains sulfites. I think people are allergic to that. I don't know a great deal about it. Okay, you can tell that this has some booze in it. In fact, there's a very base ethanol aroma here that I'm getting. But there's the sweetness and the char of the bourbon barrel. There's this nice smokiness to it. And it's all wrapped up in this beautiful sort of like sweetness that's just sitting there and sort of bringing the whole piece together. This is a beautiful nose. Although, quite frankly, I would assume as I was drinking this, not that I was drinking this, as I was smelling this, that this was something more than a beer. And quite frankly, the way it clings to the glass, it is really much more of a, that, by the way, that's condensation. It's nothing else on the glass because this was cold. It is really, really behaving more like a spirit. All right, let's give it a taste. Oh my God, that is so good. Okay, first off, this is lethally dangerous because you don't taste the alcohol. You don't feel it. There's no burn to it. This is sweet. This is drinkable. This is viscous, for those of you who like that word. And it just clings to the tongue. It almost tastes like something that you should be sweetening something else with, so it is sweet. This is definitely something for dessert. Now, there is the barrel aroma that you get from a lot of bourbon barrel-aged beers. In particular, bourbon barrel-aged anything, I'm sorry. I have bourbon barrel-aged pancake syrup upstairs, bourbon barrel-aged coffee. Like, they do it with everything now. So there is that aroma, that sort of barrel spiciness that's there. And I'll tell you something, I don't know what bourbon that they have aged these barrels, you know, what bourbon barrels they've aged this in. I really would like to know. But I don't think this is a high rye. Like, my big complaint this year with Bourbon County was that I thought that they did a lot of rye, you know, like high rye based bourbon stuff. And as such, there was sort of this sort of spiciness that I just didn't like. I felt like this year was just hot. This tastes like more of a wheated bourbon or a sweeter bourbon. And you know, listen, I'm an amateur, as we all are, unless you have some sort of like qualification for this. You know, like, what is my qualification for rating beer? I have a camera and editing software. Like that's really what it comes down to. That being said, the way I'm tasting it, to me, it tastes like some of my sweeter bourbons, my wheated ones, if you will. This is lovely. In fact, this is the type of thing that you only want to take out for special guests because there's a good sweetness to it. I think this would be phenomenal as an after coffee drink. You know, I'm going to get a little literary here. There's this line from John Steinbeck's Travels with Charlie where he says that he sweetens up somebody's coffee with Applejack, which is like an apple brandy. This sort of makes me think of that scene because it was set in the fall and it was sort of getting cold. And this to me seems to be the perfect fall beverage. I mean, you could serve it cold, you could serve it hot, you could pour it over ice cream. It really does have all of the sweetness and smokiness of like a fall leaf fire, you know, in New England. And it's just gorgeous. It really is. I could drink this every day for the rest of my life, I think, and find new and interesting things to taste. Because I remember liking it in Charleston. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't like much in Charleston, but I remember liking it in Charleston. And oh, by the way, I doubt they need it, but like the Savannah Honey Company is freaking awesome. The kid who helped me there not only helped me pick out bottles, but he wrapped it in such a way that these things survived the travel. You know, like, and by the way, like, I didn't check these. I didn't carry these on because they're bottles. I checked these things, so they went in my luggage. The kid did such a good job. The young man did such a good job of wrapping these things up that they survived the travel from Charleston to JFK and the baggage handling in both places, and they came through without a bit of damage. So, you know, like, if you get a chance, the Savannah Honey Company is freaking awesome. And that Mead bar in the back on the left is fantastic. Now, I have to tell you the truth. I know I spent more than $20 a bottle on this, but I want to be clear. I didn't look up the price again, and this might have been more like $40 a bottle. I'm not looking at this as a beer, much the way I look at a lot of the Goose Island beers. I'm looking at this instead as sort of a wine. This is something that you're not gonna chug, you're not gonna waste, you're gonna share out. And the fact that it's not carbonated and that you can leave it in the fridge to sort of like sit for a couple of days is nice, because I can enjoy this over the course of the last few nights. Excuse me. The last few nights of my summer vacation. And I really think this is a fantastic purchase. Now, would I buy something from Nektar Extra Limited again? Yes, absolutely. And quite frankly, with how much Goose Island disappointed me last year, I'm looking for newer places to sort of throw a lot of that money that Goose Island would normally take out of my beer budget for the year. And would I throw it to this particular company? Absolutely. Absolutely. The product is undeniably just fantastic. The layers of flavor are exquisite. I can't say enough nice about this particular beverage. I won't even call it a beer, but this mead is exceptional. Now, I bought 2 bottles of this because I wanted one to be able to have in the house, and I wanted one for one day to take somewhere for a special occasion and be like, hey man, try this. So, you know, in both cases, I think that this was well worth the money. So if you see it out there, I would pick it up. I'm gonna try out the Nektar Extra Unlimited webpage and see if I can find anything online about them, because I would definitely pick up their stuff again. Anyway, folks, I hope you have enjoyed this review. I have to tell you the truth. This is one of the better beverages I've tried, and if you get a chance, try it. Even though the price is a little high, I think it's worth the effort to find it and give it a try. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy the rest of this glass because it is fucking exquisite and well worth, you know, trying it out. So I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this one. And this I'm gonna enjoy over the course of the next night. Next few nights. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like the review, hit that like button. If there's some other mead company or you've tried this particular mead, I'd love to hear your feedback about this, the Savannah Honey Company, any of that stuff. And I will see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers. And this is fantastic. God damn it. This was worth every penny of whatever it cost.